Brick for wood?
No.
What about 2 for 1? 3 for 1, last and final offer.
Colonist.io, the best way to play Catan online. Use strategy, planning, and cunning negotiation. Play Colonist free today.
Hello, my name is Brandon. I'm going to be hosting this workshop masterclass, AI Filmmaking Made Easy. So the goal of this is to make AI video easy for you guys to understand and give you a professional workflow to start creating your own ads. Now, this workshop is for video editors who you've probably already worked with things like CapCut, Adobe After Effects, Premiere Pro, and we just want to upskill these creative AI tools that you keep hearing about so that you can create ads, animations, and video content for brands and social media. Now, there's 3 main outcomes from this masterclass that I want you guys to get. Number 1 is to learn a professional workflow. Number 2, I'm going to teach you about a tool stack that is approximately $50 a month. It's relatively affordable, and it's going to help you start creating content today. Number 3 is we're going to walk through creating a professional ad for the live contest that we currently have running inside of the Anthum community. Okay, a little bit about me. My name is Brandon. I'm the founder of AI Film Academy. For the last 15 years, I've worked in digital media projects. I started with Photoshop, Adobe After Effects, and that scaled into working across different creative projects for businesses, clients, customers. And so over the last 5 years, I spent a lot of time helping customers create video content. That's how I got started with generative AI. I had a customer come to me. He was like, "Hey, Brandon, one of my biggest competitors is making AI animated Bible stories. How can we get in on this?" That's how we started creating. So our goal for this workshop is to make AI videos as easy to understand as possible with a professional workflow. There's a big challenge in the AI video space, and that is tool overwhelm. There are too many tools, too many updates. You're probably hopping on this call and you've heard about Kling, Sora, VO3, NanoBanana, and a bajillion other tools. In this class, we're going to cut through the noise and simplify it down into the only tools that you really need to know about. This way, you can master 2 really good tools and ignore everything else. Let's first talk about these AI image and video models. These new AI image and video generators are like the cameras of the future. If you're a videographer or know about photography, you know there are tons of different camera brands. Most videographers don't own every single brand. They own one really good camera that they use every time, and they just got really good at using that camera. That's the exact same mental framework we're bringing into using these AI models. So right here, we have a list of names you've probably heard: Midjourney, NanoBanana, Google VO, so on and so forth. We don't need all of them. We're going to focus on 2 main tools. For this workshop, I'll mostly be using Midjourney and Kling. I will touch a little bit of Google VO, but pretty much Midjourney and Kling are my go-to tools. There are 2 main types of tools when it comes to AI videos. We have an AI art tool, which is Midjourney, and we have an AI video tool, which is Kling. Okay, let's get into what this professional 3-step workflow looks like. We've got pre-production, and this is something you're probably already familiar with if you're a video editor. We've got scripting, storyboarding. Sometimes we'll also generate the voiceover in pre-production. Step 2 in the workflow is production. This is where we're going to spend a majority of our time, and this is where this class is really going to focus because it's all about AI art creation and AI video animation. Finally, we've got post-production, which again is something you're probably already familiar with. We open up our favorite video editing software, work on the sound design, transitions, pacing, and then we export. So let's dive a little bit deeper into each of these steps before we move into creating the ad. Phase 1, we've got pre-production. We're writing a script, creating a storyboard, and sometimes generating our voiceover. And the main tools we're using for this is Google Docs and 11 Labs for AI voiceovers. Then in production, we start with AI. This is where you're taking your ideas and turning them into visual images, designing our characters, the scenes, and filling out our storyboard. For our main tool here, we're going to be using Midjourney. Up next, inside of production, we have AI video. And this is where we're animating our images into video. The awesome thing is that this is easier than AI art. AI video is a lot more conversational, whereas AI art, it's kind of a little more like a programming language. So once we make it past the art phase, this becomes a lot easier. The tools we'll be using is Kling AI as our primary tool. We might dabble with Google Veo. It's a really popular video generator that's out there right now, but I find Kling, does a really great job almost every single time. And then finally, we've got post-production. This is where we finalize our AI film. We cut the video clips together, adjust the pacing, and work on the sound design. All right, if you're ready, drop some comments in the chat, and we're going to start moving into this live demo. Okay, so first thing that we need here is an actual script. To do this, we really had to brainstorm, what is our video going to look like? And so we've got this great reference ad on the homepage of Anthum. Let's give it a watch really quick. One thing to note here is those first 20 to 30 seconds, everything is visually driven. There's not a voiceover. Visually, we're seeing a thief stealing a sheep and a knight coming in to essentially save the day. This is more of a gameplay style ad for Colonist. If you aren't familiar with Colonist, there's a popular board game called Catan. Colonist is an online version of that board game. When thinking about making an ad, I'm thinking of Clash of Clans, if you're familiar with those like ad styles where it's just gameplay characters. That's what we're going to try and create today. Let me show you the script first, and then I'll show you how I got here. So that was our ad. What I thought for what we're going to create today live is this 4-scene script. And following that same gameplay style, we're going to be seeing a lumberjack in the forest swinging away at a tree. And then we've got this brick guy. He's a trader, one of the other players in the game. He comes over and he's like, hey, want to trade a wood for brick? And our lumberjack is going to tell him no. And then the main bulk of our ad is going to be just this negotiation scene where the lumberjack is saying, what about 2 for 1? No. What about 3 for 1? The lumberjack is going to say, you know what? Okay. They're going to shake on it. Then we're going to have a twist at the end where the tree for the lumberjack is going to fall and represent some type of panic. It's like, oh crap, I actually kind of lost that deal. And we're going to have the brick guy walking away, kind of looking all cool. Maybe some sunglasses, maybe some smirk. We'll see what the AI model gives us for the character. That way we have the brick guy winning that negotiation. And then in the last 10, 15 seconds of the ad is when we'll have our voiceover play, similar to what they did in this reference ad. It's basically just going to say Colonist.io is the best way to play Catan online. Use it for strategy, planning, and cunning negotiation. Play it free today. Pretty straightforward, right? You guys can also screenshot this or build off this for your own idea. You really tailored the ad to the gameplay. This is almost out of pre-production. If we come back and look at pre-production, we've got this compelling script and we still need a storyboard. Now, the storyboard kind of bleeds over into AI art. So this is the storyboard I put together. All I did here was copy paste my script into this document and decide what images I want in scene 1. I tried to go for about 2 images per scene. We're going to be reusing some art when we get to the negotiation scene. This gives us a visual flow. Once we've listed out what images we're going to be creating, we can start moving over into phase 2, which is our AI art. So I hope you guys are ready. We're going to do this live. Some things might come out a little wonky and we got to course correct live, and we'll see how that goes. How I came up with the script idea is I came to ChatGPT, gave it some screenshots of the ad and described it. First 20 seconds, no voiceover. We want this to be visually driven. Give me a couple of ideas of popular resources, scenarios, or battles that happen inside of Catan. And it ended up giving me a few different resources and starting ideas. I ended up picking this brick and wood and had ChatGPT flesh it out for version 1, dropped it into my Google Doc, and I started editing it and turned it into what we have now. We've got a script, a storyboard. Another thing I did with ChatGPT after I got this shot list put together is I copy pasted it into chat. I've got this Midjourney prompting agent that I created. I dropped my shot list in here and trained this agent to prompt for Midjourney the way I like to make art. It gave me some starting prompts that I could essentially just copy paste over into Midjourney. And that brings us over to Midjourney. I ran all of the prompts on my shot list. And visually, it's not super cohesive right now. We don't have to worry about that yet. We want to iterate in drafts, right? Whenever we work on a project, I usually do like 3 drafts. Draft 1 is really rough. We can see it, right? Draft 2 is a lot more polished. That's where we start to tie the visual style together. Draft 3 is perfectionizing. But these are the first results we got from the prompts. I'm not really liking these, and that's okay. We're going to screenshot what Midjourney created and drop it back into the agent, iterate until we get the right look for the shots we want. One thing I did really like from this batch was our opening shot. Really like this one. I've got this storyboard pulled up in Canva. Don't worry too much about where you're making your storyboard. If you don't have a software to kind of just visually organize these, like you could even come over to, Google Docs and just drag and drop. The only reason we're doing this is to visually see our images in order, all in one place. So to make this a little smaller, I like this for our shot 1 is a nice aerial view of the scene. Before we dive deeper, this is midjourney.com. I really like Midjourney for the art because it gives us a great stylization and animation. Midjourney is really tailored towards that cartoon, 3D, and 2D look. It's also really easy to create consistent characters inside of Midjourney, so that's what I really like about this. So where we're at right now is we've got our shot list that we're turning into a visual storyboard with art. So inside of Midjourney, we want to start designing our character. There's 2 main characters we're going to have. We've got the lumberjack and we've got the brick guy. The reason I want to start there is these art styles are kind of all over the place. There's no character consistency. This lumberjack guy is not really next to his tree, right? So we just want to dial that in. And so to do that, I've got a couple prompts. I'll go ahead and paste these in the chat. And I'm going to start with this first face only prompt and come back to my Midjourney agent. And I'm going to actually pull up on my phone. That way I can use the speech to text and just start telling it about what I want. Hey, so we're going to create a headshot image for the lumberjack first. We really want to dial in the consistency of the style here. I've also got a prompt template that we're going to use. Wait for me to drop the prompt template into the chat, and then let's make a variation to send to Midjourney. Refresh. Go ahead and paste. Okay. Well, let's see how this comes out looking. We've got the prompt here. Let's come back to Midjourney. Right here, we've got this settings button. We want to open up the settings. And the only sliders we want to focus on right now are image size and stylization. I'm going to make this a square image size and leave the stylization at 150. Stylization is how much Midjourney is going to either listen to your prompt or get creative. If I put this at 0, it's not going to get very creative. It's just going to listen specifically to my prompt. If I move this to 100, it's going to do a blend between listening to my prompt and creating its own thing. And to bring the prompt back, I'm pressing the up arrow, which loads the prompt I last submitted. Now I'm going to try 150 and 250. See what happens, what we get here. And while that loads, I'm going to ask it, please make me a new version now for the brick trader guy. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat while these load. I like this guy, but the hairstyle's a little all over the place. And that's going to be an issue when we get to putting our character inside a scene. Cool. And while it makes that, we're also going to try loading our other guy, our brick builder. Come back here, copy, paste. I feel like I almost like this guy more for the lumberjack. Ooh, okay. I want to see what this row generates because I'm kind of liking this more. I'm thinking this far right is probably going to be a better option here. So this is a good place to start. What I'm going to do now is click this very subtle and very strong button. That's going to give us a few more iterations of our character so that we can really dial in the look for this one. I'm liking this guy. I think we're going to go ahead and move forward with him. I'm just going to download that image. The really cool thing about using an agent for your prompting is you can ask for variations, and it's going to basically follow the same template that I shared with you guys. So it's going to align with the template and fill out different versions that you can copy paste so that you're not spending too much time typing in everything or trying to think of what does this guy look like. Hey chat, give me 5 versions. Let's run them and see visually which one I like. Just want to make sure the styles align. I feel like this guy's pretty good. I'm going to use the very subtle and very strong really quick. We're just going to finalize one more headshot here for our second character, and then we're going to start moving into storyboarding the rest of our scenes. The first one that's going to come up is where the lumberjack is swinging away at his tree. Another cool thing, I screenshotted what happened over here in Midjourney, and then I dropped it over into ChatGPT and told it what I didn't like about the image. It's going to make a new prompt for me based off of what we didn't like. So I'll go ahead and paste that. We'll use this for our second headshot. All right, so let's move that over into the art folder. Cool. Okay, now let's get into creating the lumberjack chopping a tree. So we've designed our headshots for our characters, and we're going to move over into a 9:16 aspect ratio, since this is what our final ad is going to be. I'm going to move the stylization down to 150 so that it listens to me a little closer. We're going to be using a feature called omnireference. To access it, click this little image icon and come over here to omnireference. This is great because it makes character consistency super simple. As long as we have one really good headshot of our character, Midjourney's omnireference is able to take that and put it into new scenes. Then we're going to come over here and tell chat that we want to move into working on shot 2. Let's refresh. There we go. Let's see what chat come back with and delete this tag. Cool. So we've got our prompt and then we've got our omnireference. Even if this doesn't give us exactly what I'm looking for, it should still be a good example of how easy omnireference makes consistent characters. Awesome. We're getting a lot closer to what I had in mind. We just need to get him in the middle of a swing, some type of side view. To do that, we're going to screenshot this, send it back to ChatGPT, and tell it our feedback. Okay. I find that giving ChatGPT a rating out of 10 seems to do a really great job at nudging it in the right directions. So that's just something to keep in mind. Let's try this again with a lower stylization value. Now, when I'm creating prompts using this agent, it's also following another prompt template I created. Let's see what type of reference image chat made for us. This is a lot closer to what I was going for. I'm going to download this. I'm going to come back to Midjourney, and then on image prompts, upload that reference image that chat made. So this is going to tell Midjourney that we want this type of composition, this type of visual setup. And then we want the omni reference with our character plus our prompt. And let's see what comes back. Cool. I think this one will probably work pretty well. So let's just very subtle. And that should give us enough variance. Awesome. And just to point it out really quick, the omni reference. So this is like pretty clearly consistent with. So just something to point out, omni reference makes consistent characters like stupid simple. It's amazing, honestly. So like this one, I'll go ahead and give it a like. And I think this is probably our winner. So I'm just going to download that. Drop it over here. Perfect. Let's move on to the next shot, which is going to be our brick guy. And let's always remember to upload our Omni reference brick builder. Love it. Where are we kind of at with this? Nice. All right. Brick builder guy is coming along so much easier. I love that. So what I'm doing here for this ad, the way I've laid it out is mostly for this negotiation scene. It's going to go back and forth between seeing the brick guy and seeing the lumberjack guy. And so we want the background to be consistent. That way we can sell the audience on an illusion of the same environment. And then we'll have a close-up of their hands shaking together. I would move over into Google Gemini and start playing with NanoBanana to get them in the same scene. I wouldn't trust Midjourney to handle putting multiple characters into the same scene and expect something good. These are pretty much good to go. This is also what I wanted, which is kind of what we're getting over here. Let's move into shot 4. We want a close-up where this brick guy pops. Kind of like this one and this. When we get multiple shots that we like, it's pretty advantageous because now we can make some quick cuts in the same scene. Look at these different camera angles we've got. We can see the ad is starting to come together. We've got this aerial view, lumberjack guy, a couple different camera angles of our brick trader. Pretty soon here, we're going to have them interacting. Having multiple angles really helps with storytelling and to make things paced faster. So let's go ahead and add our Omni reference. Click right here. Once you've uploaded an image into this gallery, it stays here. So it's really easy to just click, send. And yeah, definitely Miss Bunny Brown, like the Omni reference is amazing how much easier it makes character consistency, especially when we have a consistent description of our character, which is what these templates give you. Once you fill this in, you have a reusable template that describes your character the same way every time. Combining this with Omni reference with some type of LLM, it's just amazing, the consistency that we can get really easily. It might get a little difficult with getting him to hold one brick, but I think we can manage, especially if we make a reference image. The amount of bricks is wrong. This becomes an iterative process. We're going to spend the next 20 minutes finishing up the art, getting our storyboard put together. Then we'll start moving into Kling to start animating. Finally, bring everything over into CapCut to put it all together. Okay, let's see what's going on here. What did chat come back with? Let's give it a second to finish generating. Maybe we can tweak the prompt while it works. I'm pressing the up arrow on my keyboard to get this prompt to load again. We got this reference image over here for our brick guy. So we're going to drop it into our image prompts. Cartoon, and we're going to put extreme close-up so that we get this very close-up view, something a little more intimate. We'll delete this part. Okay. Sometimes Midjourney will hit us with this, but it still generates, so that's fine. We're gonna have to modify this prompt, but it's basically just gonna be a close-up of our lumberjack. Let's try and see what happens. Perfect. I think there are 3 pretty good ones I'm seeing from this. We can even reuse this one, so that's awesome. We've got that done ahead of time. I really like this one, but I also really like this one. I think this one kind of gives us a little more story. Let me know which one you guys prefer here. And this one also, I like them. These are good to go. This one's for sure gonna land in there. So we're getting that visual flow now. We've got our guy asking brick for wood. And then we just need a couple more shots of our lumberjack, and then we'll be good to go into animating. We can probably reuse these too. So now we're really missing a couple of lumberjack shots. The handshake, the tree falling, and the brick guy walking away. We'll be able to do that pretty quickly. Okay, see what happens with that. Now, because I need more images of my lumberjack, I'm going to ask for a few different variants. I'm going to click right here, which will load our Omni reference. So we can reuse prompts and settings by clicking on this right side. We've got a few different variations here. They're all kind of very front angle though. Ooh, I'm liking this one. His axe is backwards, but we can probably ignore that for this. And this one's also pretty good. So if we could make him side angled, that'd be great. That way we can have him almost turn towards the camera rather than immediately facing the camera. But that's something we'll work on once we get to the animation. Okay. We accidentally made this 16 by 9. To fix this, click this pan button, and this is going to extend the scene vertically. And then I'm going to do it one more time and extend it to the bottom. So you just got to wait for this version to generate. And then again, I'm going to click this pan, and this time I'm going to click the down arrow. In case this isn't showing up for you, because I know a lot of these will get hidden, you've got these more options setting, and you can see I have all of them checked on. When you first start, some of these might not be there. So you just want to make sure that you click them and check them on. Otherwise, this option won't be there for you. Cool. Nice. So far, coming to trade brick for wood. No. Handshake, tree fall, and then one more closing shot like this. Now, the awesome is you can just click very subtle and very strong, and then that'll give us more options. So I'm actually going to feed this same prompt back into Midjourney and make sure that we're on 9:16 this time. It's important to not include words in your prompt. This section right here, ChatGPT added this part, and we don't like it because this is how we get these weird variations that have text in the end. It's not really what we're going for here. It doesn't look very good, and Midjourney is just really bad with text and font. Do we have any other usable ones down here? Click on. Wow, we didn't even end up really needing these, but we'll do good job. Make one more where he is. Cool. And let's add this over to our storyboard. We'll probably put him here. And I like this one for the first one because it gives this exaggerated, like, 1-for-1. Hell no. With the eyebrow lift. And what do we got left here? Handshake. And the tree falling. Brick guy walks away. I feel like this one's pretty solid. Missing a finger there. We can work with it. This one's also missing a finger. I'm going to duplicate this. We've got this visual flow going, and only 2 things we really have left are the brick guy walking away and the lumberjack. I'll feed these into chat, and then I'm probably going to start moving into the video generation. Perfect. Yes. I love you, ChatGPT. This reference image is pretty great. I'm pretty happy with this. Great job. we don't really want a lot of dynamic words or adjectives in our prompt. We want to save that for video prompting. The moment we start adding jumping, moving, walking, running, Midjourney starts to hallucinate some stuff. I might try this, but I'm not too hopeful on this one. Prompt 2. Recoiling. Yeah, that's not really a good one. Nice. I like this third one here. This seems to be more in line with what we're actually creating. Let's just make sure to move those. This is like a 6 out of 10. We're moving into AI video so we can multitask. These take minutes to generate. While that's loading, we can come over to Kling. I dropped this in the chat earlier. We're using KlingAI.com. I really like this video generator. I would say Kling and Google VO are like the number 2 that you just need to pay attention to. So when you come over to Kling, you'll hit a home page. We have image, video, avatar, effects. So we're going to click on video. And to save some credits, I'm going to use video 2.1. We're going to be using image to video. So we're going to be uploading the images that we created. One thing I love about Kling that some other generators are catching up on is the ability to ask for a prompt. We've got this little DeepSeek button that when we click it and upload our image, creates 3 prompts for me that I can click generate or use. Okay, I'm going to click on generate. This will burn through more credits if you select more outputs. So that's something to keep in mind. We'll do it too. We've got the option to generate 5 seconds or 10 seconds. I'm going to try a 10-second version. And that should also help with the closing shot. I feel confident that first prompt will work. I'm going to throw in one more to have some options. Up next, we've got our lumberjack. Yeah. So let's click on DeepSeek again. I'll analyze our image and then share more information to make sure we're aligned on the vision here. And one thing that these prompt generators tend to do is over-explain. So we see these big prompts, right? It might look good at first because it's super long, but it starts to add things that we don't really need to make the prompt hallucinate. I'm going to prompt it for a new version and trim it down. Especially for this shot, if I click generate, this one will probably hallucinate some stuff. For this one, I might try 2.1 and 2.5 to get some really good movement. Camera pushes in on lumberjack. See, like this detail right here about the green shirt sleeves rolled up, like we don't need that. The video generator, like it's already in the visual. So we can just go ahead and delete that. And then this part where it's like sending wood fragments, scattering, this is where I think the model will start to hallucinate. So I'm just going to delete that. Emphasizing his physical exertion. We can delete that too. So the reason I started generating the videos while we've still got a couple of shots left over here is we can start to see the estimated wait times over here. And some of these are like 1 minute, 3 minutes. We've got some that are ready, so that's awesome. We'll take a look at these in just 1 second here. I just want to get some more generations in the queue before we review stuff, just because these take so much time. Yeah. So these starter prompts, again, I don't love them, but it is a starting point, and that's really important. Let's give it some feedback for a draft 2 of the prompt. I'm also going to try just copy pasting this. So we're not going to use the prompt improver for that first version. Let's see what happens with that. What's happening over here? I really want to get. I'm also going to try something here. So this is in Gemini. I'm going to use NanoBanana and see if it can recreate this image and face swap my character in here. So you can see that we start to have this multitasking going on where we've got some videos generating, we've got images generating across a couple different LLMs. And this is where it gets fun too, because you get a bit of a productivity hit, right? Because we've got so many tabs open and all of them are working. We don't even need Midjourney for that shot. That's great. Let's drop this in over here. Now download it. It is 1 by 1. Perfect. Make it. 16. I like to use NanoBanana as more of a like image editor, almost like Photoshop. That's how I really think of NanoBanana. It's a nice extra tool for cleaning things up. If you just come back here and tweak enough times in Midjourney, eventually it comes together. We've got a lot to go through here. So let's start from these aerial shots. The sound is on, so if you have headphones on, just like little headphone warning. I'm liking this one. Don't love the random rays of sunshine, but the movement's good. Ooh, the sound on this one's actually pretty good. Okay. And we don't even need like all 10 seconds. Like this first 3 to 5 seconds, perfect. So I'm just gonna give it a star. You go ahead and with the audio. Let's see. All right, let's see what's happening over here. I don't like that he's swinging downwards, but that's about it. The actual animation itself is pretty good. I just want him swinging sideways. You're gonna hit the tree there. Okay. And what's interesting is we use different video models like 2.1, 2.1 master, and 2.5 on these generations. 2.5 honestly looks pretty similar to 2.1. I think this first one was probably the best. We just need him to pop sideways, but if we weren't too worried about perfection, we could use this realistically. I'll download it for now, and then I'm going to send in the prompt again. I can click this edit button right up here, and it'll load the prompt back in. And let's check out what our brick guy is doing. Okay, so this was the one where I just spoke plain English. I think this is still decent. I want the camera to move along with him. But that's also where we gave it this better prompt. Perfect. Yes. All right, we're going to go ahead and download that one. This one's also pretty good. This was already usable. They're both usable, really. So, awesome. Keep right that. This is still with the one that accidentally got resent. We're waiting on this one here. Let's see what's going on. I think we could use this as an end frame, actually. So that could be good. You have to iterate a lot. Getting it to 100% becomes more of a perfectionist thing. And sometimes we just got to let that go to work with what we have. Otherwise, we get stuck on scenes and then we're slowing the project down. We can also use this zoom out option. So I'm going to click on those and that will get us a lot farther away from his face. This one, I actually really, he's giving smug. I think this is one I could see being animated where he pulls the sunglasses down. This goes back to the thing that we were talking about, where this isn't 100% what I was envisioning, but it's something I can work with and actually pull into adapting with it to make it work. Okay, this is more of what I was expecting. So let's try that. Gemini's probably going to do a great job. Let's try doing that face swap one more time. And I'm going to making a new chat. I think NanoBanana is really helping me get to 100% vision type of thing, just with how great it is with AI image in general. It's really, what do you got over here? It's similar to what we already have. So I think I'm just going to have to settle for either this first one or that new one that we just made. I like the audio from the first one, so we'll just stick with that. We got some bricks, but speed run some of these. This worked really well. I'm going to just pretty much copy this over. Let's move on to the next shot. I'm going to prompt it to have his mouth move. Now we can get that mouth movement animation baked in there to start. And Kling also has this really good lip sync feature that we could use for his line where he just says brick for wood. We have the NanoBanana. Oh, yes. But make it darn by 16. Okay. Okay. Now pretty much all of our efforts just gonna go into finishing the video generations now. We might be able to just close out Midjourney now if I need it. Chat. Also move him down there. This is good. Yes. And then I'll throw these on the storyboard just so you guys can see it all put together. I don't know, that's pretty much it. I'll copy paste this one down here. Wait, that. Let's center it. Cool. And then we've got the colonist logo that we can overlay in there. This is a resource shared with you guys inside of the Discord under the contests. So this is inside of their brand folder that you can use. Let's turn this into a 9x16. And then probably have it overlay on top of this closing scene. So we'll work that image in a little. Let's see how this is looking. Let's try without the mouth move. And ask for a little bit of help. Perfect. What comes next? We got this guy. Now for this shot, I'm gonna click this button to move him into the end frame. This is his ending expression. I really want his start to be a little more neutral, show that he's visually unimpressed by the brick for wood offer. Ooh. Okay. Let's run the next one. We've got 2 bricks. There we go. I'm gonna move that to an end frame. I'm gonna probably copy this problem. Liking that one. And interestingly enough, it bumped us down to 1.6. We'll get back on 2.1 in a sec. With that in mind, I'm probably gonna run this one again. Cool. I'm just gonna get all of these submitted now. And then if the generations are still moving slow, I'll pull up Google Flow and we can send some of the videos over there to animate. Let's see what happens. Right. Let's try. Let's have DeepSeek analyze. Okay, then we're almost done here. It's crazy how long these take to generate, but it looks like they're starting to come through. So I'm going to submit a couple more prompts, run to the bathroom really quick, and then we'll watch the video generations, go through any regenerations that we need to do, and put it all together in CapCut. We're done. It's pretty straightforward with the lip syncing, especially on Kling. So we'll basically just use 11 Labs to generate the character audio. And then Kling has this handy little lip sync button where we upload our audio clip and it'll sync it to our character. And right here, he's already talking. So sometimes I'll do it this way where I prompt for the character to talk and then just make it sync up in the video editing software, like match his movement. Okay. Nice. We can use that. When we've got Kling and Google VO like going simultaneously, it's just amazing. And those are our last 2 shots. We've got the handshake. Sometimes this thing goes overboard. Interlocked hands, rotate gracefully. No, we just need them to shake hands. Cool. And we've gone through all the AI art creation. We're finishing up the AI video animations. And then we'll move into video editing. That's stitching it all together and cutting the clips to adjust the pacing. I'm going to start downloading clips and stitching them together in CapCut. I can start to see what we're missing and finish from there. We could probably lip sync that to say no. Let's see what we've already downloaded. That's not what we wanted. We'll try that one more time. In case you haven't worked with video editing software before, CapCut is like a #1 to learn really easily. And then you could even do this process in Canva. I could create a new video inside of Canva. And it's the same process of just drag and drop your clips in and then just trim them down. So like here, we got few seconds. We got some transitions. We want him mid-motion. Cool. So now it's just lining these up inside of our editor to match the flow of our storyboard. So let's finish animating these clips. And I'll be good to get. We're on the 1 brick. Awesome. I'm going to try scrolling through this part over here on the right and go from here. Perfect. I'm going to go to 11 Labs. And We're just going to make him a voice really quick. What do we want him to sound like? I don't want to spend too much time looking for a voice, but I don't want to just use a default either. So let's use a filter, or use an animation, male for young.
The final proof of greatness lies in being able to endure criticism.
All right, so quick breakdown.
This fits our theme for this.
Slightly awkward nerd friend.
Okay, let's click use test of speech.
Brick for wood?
Perfect. Over here, I'm using the 2.5 Flash model. We've got a speed slider. I usually leave that at 1. Stability and similarity are the two key settings that we want to play with in 11 Labs. We want our stability slider to be around 40% to get more emotional reads. So every time we click regenerate, it'll give us a varied emotional type of delivery. If we move this up to 70, 80%, it starts to get really monotone, which might be correct depending on your, but I find 40% really good. I actually want this up at 80%. This helps it sound more like the actual voice itself. I like this clip, so I'm going to download it. Now we're going to click lip sync. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's click add speed. Over 2 seconds. Wow. How long is this? 1 point something. I'm going to adding like literally dead space really quick to the clip. So like this dead space. Actually, this one. Copy paste. Cool. So all I'm doing here is adding dead space. That way our clip is over 2 seconds and then Kling can go ahead and generate our lip sync. All right, and then we can try that again. Okay. And then we can sync it up here for where we want it. To I can present the brick for a good half second to a second. Bring it a little longer. Cool, brick for wood. Okay, now let's click on generate. So if I put this dot dot, it'll add a little bit of emphasis.
2 for 1.
There we go. Perfect. I'm going to download that.
3 for 1, last and final offer.
I don't like how that sounded. Let's put it the similarity, stability,
3 for 1, last and final offer.
the speech. Right here. Click generate. It's funny because he says 2 for 1, but he's holding a lot more than 2. If we were going for super perfectionism, we'd probably want to spend more time dialing in details like that, but it's not too crazy. We're just finishing up the video generations and then throwing them in CapCut, doing sound design, and then we're good to go. This one we probably want more of a monotone, so I'm going to bump him up to 65.
Colonist.io, the best Catan online. Use strategy, planning, and cunning.
Too slow.
The best way to play Catan online. Use strategy, planning, and cunning negotiation. Play Colonist free today.
Okay, I think we can use that one. Now we can go ahead and drop that over into here. And a VO. Drop you in. And this will go towards the end of our ad. Somewhere over here. Was this our lip sync one? All right, there's the audio.
Brick for wood? Brick for wood?
I want to send it for a redub. This is where we play around with it, iterate a few times depending on how perfect we want it to sound. There we go. That one works.
Brick for wood?
Cool. Okay. So here we're missing the tree fall and then the wicked shot. So I think that's like 3 more shots. Perfect. Let's see if we can make this work over here. Yeah, clean this up. It's coming together really well. We just need a couple extra clips here, but it's pretty much the narrative we were going for. Okay. And we can also lip sync this guy. Lumberjack gotta be masculine.
No.
Okay. We just need to add a little bit of dead space and audacity. Cool. Let's see how that lip sync comes out. I'm curious if it changes his facial expression much. I'm actually just going to make the prompt for this one a lot simpler. So I'm not even going to prompt for him to be shaking his head. It's just going to be a slow camera zoom in. That'll make the lip syncing a lot easier. Because sometimes these models now, because they're so focused on making dynamic movement, they'll just add it in, even if you don't really want it. They overdo it sometimes.
What about 2 for 1?
Okay, and I think we already added that one here. So you gotta replace this. The prompt for this one. I'm gonna overlay the audio in here. Perfect. And then if I just cut it here, thanks.
Brick for wood?
No.
What about 2 for 1?
Even with the negative prompt of saying no facial movement, it'll did a little bit. But that's more than usable. We can work with that. What do we want him to say there? Another cool thing with 11 Labs is we can generate sound effects. So I'm gonna just make a quick sound effect for this guy. Just like angry man breathing type thing. And this works the same way as the image and video generators. It'll make us a couple versions that we can listen to. We can refine this to create some new sound effects as well. So it made us 4. Definitely not that one. I think number 2 is probably usable if we clip that a little.
Brick for wood?
No.
What about 2 for 1?
We need 3 bricks and 1 shot of the tree falling. Is this lip synced?
3 for 1, last and final offer.
I'll drop this guy in. Oh, you can see him there with voiceover here. And I'll polish this after the class. I just want to show you guys this completed version and what that sounds like. Let's bring the audio down on this one.
Brick for wood?
No.
What about 2 for 1? 3 for 1, last and final offer.
Colonist.io, the best way to play Catan online. Use strategy, planning, and cunning negotiation. Play Colonist free today.
Hey guys, I just finished polishing the AI ad video that we made earlier today on the call. I want to show you the changes that I made, and let's take a look here. So we're inside of CapCut. I went ahead and trimmed down a lot of the clips so that we could really get to the action of our story by 5 seconds here. And then I focus on making each of these clips about 2 to 3 seconds long at the most. This is really good for like retention editing, especially here in this beginning part. This scene goes by in 1 second. So we just want to establish where we are and quickly get into the plot of the ad. Okay. I also added some transitions to stitch things together and some keyframes to manipulate camera movement by scaling the frame. And I cleaned up some of the cuts here to where they're speaking to remove any unwanted lip movement or facial expressions. And over here on some of these clips, I went ahead and used the speed option to modify how long the clips were to adjust facial expressions and that sort of stuff. Okay, and paying attention here to just the visual clips still, I layered on some extras up here to do some fade transitions and just use this one for music actually. And you can see it's off here. It's actually a 1% scale off frame. We're just doing that specifically to grab the music from this clip. And right here, we've got a animation fade in. That way we can transition very smoothly from our brick trader over to our lumberjack running away from the tree. Over here, I animated this in Kling with a start and end frame. So I used the logo as the end frame and one of the other assets that was provided to us as a start frame. And it was like an empty blue background without the logo. So I just asked Kling for a really easy animation there. Down here, we can see all of the audio design that I did. And all of this was done using 11 Labs. So this right here is the voiceover that we generated inside of 11 Labs. I redid some of the sound effects for the lumberjack and just his tone, his expression. And then I created one more over here. I created this clapping sound effect to group their hands together. And then same thing over here for the tree. We used 11 Labs to generate all of the audio for the tree falling and crashing onto the floor. I also generated a sound effect for the brick trader walking through the woods. And then I generated this music clip inside of 11 Labs to just give it a little bit more of that mobile game feel. All the other sound effects in this clip are generated from when we were creating the videos. So using Kling and Google VO, both of those generated sound effects throughout some of these clips, as well as our lip syncing. And so over here, we can see my sound effects history. And these are all of the prompts that I went through to just try out different sound effects, see what I wanted to add into the background, and then play around with the volume levels, fade ins, fade out. Now over here on the music, this is the one that I created for the AI ad. And we can see the inclusion and exclusion tags. I did not add these. The only thing I really did was come over to music. And firstly, I got this prompt right here from Gemini. So I asked Gemini for 3 versions of a song, and I picked the prompt that I thought was best suited for the ad. I didn't really like the first version, so I told it was 3 out of 10. And then it gave me a new version that came out 7 out of 10. I asked for some more modifications. I got a 6 out of 10, and then I ended up just using like the first probably 5 to 10 seconds of this section of the song. And then I chose to leave the rest of this pretty just sound effects oriented up until the end here, where we just reuse the sound, the music from the Google VO generation, because it fit pretty nicely here. Awesome. So that's just a quick look at the final cut for the AI ad concept. Thank you guys for watching the whole workshop masterclass, and I hope that you got a lot of value from this.
Brick for wood?
No.
What about 2 for 1? 3 for 1, last and final offer.
Colonist.io, the best way to play Catan online. Use strategy, planning, and cunning negotiation. Play Colonist free today.